Hey y'all, what's going on? Good evening, good morning, good night, all that good stuff. Do I look blurry? Look blurry to me. My name is Tamika Collins, and welcome again to my Facebook channel. On this episode right here, we are reading the Bible from Genesis to Revelation. Y'all, we gonna get there. We gonna get there right. Well, we are almost out of Exodus. We are almost exiting out of Exodus. So we are on. I got my paper. Oh, I was looking for this earlier. I'll tell you. We was talking about that earlier. If you ask God, He'll show you what stuff is. You be done put something somewhere, and you like, Lord, where did I put it? Help me find it. He'll help you find it. I was looking for that earlier. Now I found it. Thank you, Lord. And it's not where I thought it was going to be at. Anyways, we are in Exodus, the 38th chapter. And we like to recap. So, in Exodus 36, 37, Bezalel, Oholiab, and the other skilled craftsmen are given all the resources for the things that they are to do. And they are given more than enough that they have gone to Moses and said, hey, tell these people to stop giving us stuff. We got enough stuff. So Moses had to tell the people to stop giving. But ain't that beautiful? When you are grateful and have a giving heart, that's what you do. And we can't outdo God, but we can always give him our bestest, as he makes all things beautiful and perfect. So, give him your bestest, your gooder and gooderest. Okay? So, we are in Exodus, the 38th chapter. Next, Bezalel used acacia wood to construct the square altar of burnt offering. It was 7.5 feet wide, 7.5 feet long, and 4.5 feet high. He made horns for each of his corners so that the horns and the altar were all one piece. He overlaid the altar with bronze. Then he made all the altar utensils bronze: the ash buckets, shovels, basins, meat forks, and fire pans. Next, he made a bronze grating and installed it halfway down the side of the altar under the ledge. He cast 4 rings and attached them to the corners of the bronze grating to hold the carrying poles. He made the poles from the acacia wood and overlaid them with bronze. He inserted the poles through the rings on the sides of the altar. The altar was hollow, and he made them planks. He made from planks. Bezalel made the bronze wash basin and its bronze stand from bronze mirrors donated by the women who served in the entrance of the tabernacle. Then Bezalel made the courtyard, which was enclosed with curtains made of finely woven linen. On the south side, the curtains were 150 feet long. They were held up by 20 posts set securely in 20 bronze bases. He hung the curtains with silver hooks and rings. He made a similar set of curtains on the north side, 150 feet of curtains held up to 20 posts set securely in bronze bases. He hung the curtains with silver hooks and rings. The curtains on the west end of the courtyard were 75 feet long, hung with silver hooks and rings, and supported by 10 posts set into 10 bases. The east end, the front, was 70 feet long. The country's yard entrance was on the east end, flanked by 2 curtains. The curtain on the right side was 22.5 feet long and was supported by 3 posts set in 3 bases. The curtain on the left side was also 22.5 feet long and was supported by 3 posts set into 3 bases. All the curtains used in the courtyard were made of finely woven linen. Each post had a bronze base, and all the hooks and rings were silver. The tops of the posts of the courtyard were overlaid with silver, and the rings to hold up the curtains were made of silver. He made the curtain for the entrance of the courtyard of finely woven linen, and he decorated it with beautiful embroidery in blue, purple, and scarlet thread. It was 30 feet long, and its height was 7.5 feet, just like the curtains of the courtyard walls. It was supported by the four posts, which sat securely its own bronze base. The tops of the posts were overlaid with silver, and the hooks of the rings were also made of silver. All the tent pegs used in the tabernacle and courtyard were made of the bronze. This is the inventory of the materials used in the building of the tabernacle and of the covenant. The Levites compiled the figures as Moses directed, and Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest, served as recorder. Bezalel, son of Uri, grandson of Hur of the tribe of Judah, made everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses. He was assisted by Oholiab, son of Ahisamach of the tribe of Dan, a craftsman expert at engraving, designing, and embroidering with blue, purple, and scarlet thread and fine linen cloth. The people brought special offerings of gold totaling 2,190 pounds, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. This gold was used throughout the tabernacle. The whole community of Israel gave 7,545 pounds of silver, as measured by the weight of the sanctuary shekel. This silver came from the tax collected from each man registered in the census. The tax is 1 bekah, which is half of a shekel, based on the sanctuary shekel. The tax was collected from 603,550 men who had reached their 20th birthday. The hundred bases for the frames of the sanctuary walls and for the post supporting the inner curtain required 7,500 pounds of silver, about 75 pounds for each base. The remaining 45 pounds of silver was made to use the hooks and rings and to overlay the tops of the posts. The people also brought as special offering 5,310 pounds of bronze, which was used for casting the bases for the posts at the entrance to the tabernacle and for the bronze altar with its bronze grating and all of the altar utensils. Bronze was also used to make the bases of the posts that supported the curtains around the courtyard. The bases for the curtain at the entrance of the courtyard and all the tent pegs of the tabernacle and the courtyard. Y'all got a lot of coins. That's a lot of coins there, y'all. Okay, let's see. Chapter 39. The craftsmen made special sacred garments of blue, purple, and scarlet clothing for Aaron to wear while ministering in the holy place, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Bezalel made the ephod of finely woven linen and embroidered it with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread. He made gold thread by hammering out thin sheets of gold and cutting it into fine strands. With great skill and care, he worked it into the fine linen with the blue, purple, and scarlet thread. I would love to see that. The ephod consisted of two pieces, front and back, joined at the shoulders with the two shoulder pieces. The decorative sash was made of same materials, finely woven linen, embroidered with gold and with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They mounted the two onyx stones in settings of the gold filigree. The stones were engraved with the names of the tribes of Israel, just as the seal is engraved. He fastened these stones on the shoulder pieces of the ephod as a reminder that the priest represents the people of Israel. All of this was done just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Bezalel made the chest piece with great skill and care. He made it match the ephod using finely woven linen embroidered with gold and blue and purple and scarlet thread. He made the chest piece of a single piece of cloth folded to form a pouch 9 inches square. They mounted 4 rows of gemstones on it. The first row contained a red carnelian, a pale green peridot, and an emerald. The second row contained a turquoise, a blue lapis lazuli, and a white moonstone. The third row contained an orange jacinth, and agate, and a purple amethyst. The fourth row contained a blue-green beryl, an onyx, and a green jasper. All these stones were set in the gold filigree. Each stone represented one of the 12 sons of Israel, and the name of the tribe was engraved on it like a seal. To attach the chest piece to the ephod, they had made braided cords of pure gold thread. They also made 2 settings of gold filigree and 2 gold rings and attached them to the top corners of the chest piece. They tied the 2 gold cords to the rings on the chest piece. They tied the other ends of the cords to the gold settings on the shoulder pieces of the ephod. Then they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the inside edges of the chest piece next to the ephod. Then they made 2 more gold rings and attached them to the front of the ephod. Below the shoulder pieces, just above the knot where the decorative sash was fastened to the ephod. They attached the bottom rings of the chest piece to the rings of the ephod with blue cords. In this way, the chest piece was held securely to the ephod above the decorative sash. All of this was done just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Bezalel made the robe that is worn with the ephod. With the ephod from a single piece of blue woven cloth, with the opening for Aaron's head in the middle of it. The opening was reinforced with a woven collar so it would not tear. These were pomegranates of blue, purple, and scarlet yarn, and attached them to the hem of the robe. They also made bells of pure gold and placed them between the pomegranates along the hem of the robe, with bells and pomegranates alternating all around the hem. This robe was to be worn whenever the priest ministered before the Lord, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. They made tunics for Aaron and his sons from fine linen cloth. The turban and the special head coverings were made of fine linen, and the undergarments were also made of finely woven linen. The sashes were made of finely woven linen and embroidered with blue, purple, and scarlet thread, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. Finally, they made the sacred medallion, the badge of holiness of pure gold. They engraved it with the seal with these words, "Holy to the Lord." They attached the medallion with a blue cord to Aaron's turban, just as the Lord had commanded Moses. And so, at last, the tabernacle was finished. The Israelites had done everything just as the Lord had commanded Moses, and they brought the entire tabernacle to Moses. The sacred tent with all the furnishings, clasps, frames, crossbars, posts, and bases, the tent coverings of tanned ram skins and fine goatskin leather, the inner curtain to shield the Ark of the Covenant and its carrying poles, the Ark's cover, the place of atonement, the table and all its utensils, the bread of the presence, the pure gold lampstand with its symmetrical lamp cups, all its accessories, and the olive oil for lighting, the gold altar, the anointing oil, and fragrant incense, the curtain for the entrance of the sacred tent, the bronze altar, the bronze grating and its carrying poles and utensils, the wash basin with its stand, the curtains for the walls of the courtyard, the posts and their bases, the curtain for the entrance to the courtyard, the ropes and the tent pegs, all the furnishings to be used in the worship at the tabernacle, the beautifully stitched garments for the priests to wear while ministering in the holy place, and the sacred garments for Aaron and the priests, and the garments for his sons to wear as they minister as priests. So the people of Israel followed all of the Lord's instructions to Moses. Then Moses inspected all of their work. When he found it had been done just as the Lord had commanded, he blessed them. Whew, talk about doing your due diligence. Yes. Well, we doing our due diligence too. You know. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. And we'll see you back. All right.